All right, welcome to the Beige book, 10-Minute Trades Trade Room. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the trading director at 10-Minute Trades. And remember also, it's possible to lose money trading futures. Very important. Okay, this afternoon we're here for what I call a Fed report. You have the Beige book. I think there's a red book. I know there's a red book. Never had much market impact from the red book. It's a very early, not very early, but it's like a 8:55 in the morning report. Pretty much, I think it's 8 times a year, the red book. We've tried to find a trade for it. Never really been able to find anything. And the Beige book, Beige book goes in and out of being tradable, not tradable. So we never know. Bear with me 1 second. Now, I just wanted to remind everybody the natural gas trade room tomorrow is going to be in GoToWebinar, and we're going to give a class on trading the squeeze after the news. And one of our members is going to work in the teach the demonstration. It's going to be a great lesson, going to be really interesting, and I'm excited about it. It'll be tomorrow at 9:30, so the natural gas room will start half an hour early, and we'll go as long as we need to. And it's going to teach a different way. We've been talking about this method, but he has a way of actually making it a little bit safer than me, than the way that I do it. So I think his method is better. He added something that we'll teach tomorrow. I'm sure everybody in this room is really going to be interested in doing it. It's quite good. So let's talk about the Beige book. What are we going to do with the Beige book? Now, I don't really think gold is going to do anything on this report. Doesn't really do much, usually. It could, because it's gold, but bonds might be interesting to watch also. But my main index for trading this is the NQ. Now, we've looked at the Beige book. It's like I said, I've been looking at the Beige book for years. We've got multiple setups. I think I know what I want to do. We've had multiple setups over the years. We've had just standard breakouts like the FOMC minutes or statement. We've tried some trap trades, and we've even tried trading it as an earnings trade. So one of the issues that when you're trying so many different things, it's because the news has an impact, but it doesn't react consistently. So that always creates a conundrum and a problem. If some things don't react consistently, if an event is inconsistent, then you can't. It just means that it's hard to trade and make a steady profit. It's just that simple. It's not that complicated. You know, you look at the ADP. The ADP is really consistent, even though it didn't work today. It stopped out totally normally, did nothing unusual. It's really consistent. When it's good, when it's bad, every which way, it's consistent. And that's really helpful when you're looking for setups. So the Beige book is not consistent. So one of the first setups you look for when A, you're not consistent, B, markets are volatile like they are today, it might be that the trap trade might offer some interesting possibilities. So it turns out that we did some testing. I should say Chantal did some trap trade testing and very much likes one of her trap trade setups. And I'm going to use it because I like the trap trade and I know how this particular report behaves. And very honestly, I asked her to look for a trap trade. Or at least it was one of the the methods I wanted her to look at, because I've used the breakout many, many times. And I even tried the one-click range trade on it last 2 months ago. And it has promise. But, you know, it's an inconsistent report, so I figure what a great time if the trap trade tested well. So let's give it a shot. So I'm going to trade the trap trade today with the NQ. And the setup is as follows. I'm just doing a double take. So bear with me for half a second. Every now and then I need to check myself. So I'm just checking myself. So bear with me. Okay, good. So look, there's always a possibility that we can be wrong. I don't have to tell you that we're not always right, and we're never always going to be right. If there's a gigantic explosion on this report, then we'll probably get stopped out. But if it's a relatively normal beige book, then there's a very good chance we'll make money. So that's how it works. That's how it works. That's how we do it on this particular report. I'm going to use tiers of 10 and 15 on the trap trade. And we're going to use an entry time. The time of the report is 1400 hours. And the time of the entry time is 1400 hours. That's what time is the report being released? 2 o'clock, 1400. And there's no prep. No prep on this. I want my orders to show up at 2 o'clock. That's when there's no prep. So my orders will show up on the entry time. And I'm going to trade with a 15 tick stop. I believe we liked, double checking it. I'm going to go with 15. And that's what we're looking for. Now, I want to look at the beige book from the last report. So this was the last beige book, and I believe we did it as a bracket. Used just a big bracket on it. Used a bracket of like 15. So I want to look at something. And that's what I'm doing. So I'm watching the video from October. We had a pretty big bracket. It's 15 ticks. I'm just watching. So you could see the news comes out. Slow response. And the beige book is one of those reports that the information filters out. It doesn't all come out in one swoop. It filters, okay? So that usually lends itself to movement up and down, which also lends itself to a trap, okay? Because a trap trade does well when price moves up and down. The key is it's got to move up or down initially enough to get you filled, so that then when it starts changing direction, the direction you're in allows you to make money when it changes to the opposite direction. So I just wanted to look at the size of the move last period, and it was not humongous, okay? Because you don't want such a gigantic explosion that it destroys a trap trade. So our tiers are 10 ticks and 15 ticks. That means that your outer order is 15 ticks away from the current price at 2 o'clock. That would be very similar to if you had a 15 bracket. But the trap is interesting because it will fill us at 10 ticks for the first tier and 15 for the second. And it does the same thing on both sides. It's just like what's the best way to explain it? A bracket trade, a reversal bracket trade. How's that? Now I have to change the account I'm trading it in. It's not a family money trade. And bear with me. So if it's not a family money trade, I have to be in the right account. So give me a second. I will change my account. NQ. That just tells me I'm trading the full size NQ. Tiers are 10 and 15. My stop is 20. With the trap trade, make sure that your stop loss position always says last fill price, not anything about average price. Okay. And I am going to trade it. The markets are volatile, but obviously I reserve the right not to trade if I feel the markets are too crazy. You have the ability to do everything that you want to do. You can do, it's not up to me. It's up to you. Your account is up to you. Okay. So as of now, I am going to trade it. Let me record it. Now, it's not the best day I've ever had today, sorry to say. Oil, I had a feeling oil was going to have a really good shot at being a winner. But I have to say, I was very concerned about how much movement there was overall in oil because it hurt our trade yesterday. And I think you kind of have to bite the bullet. When there's 2 stop outs in a row, you just got to do it. You got to take the trade. Just close your eyes, take the trade. Now, you have to realize too, that oil trade today was really fast. I might have gotten stopped out because I would have gone for 15 ticks. I wouldn't have tried just for 7, like the daily report says for target 1. I would have tried for 1 contract, and I would have done what I do with natural gas. After 2 or 3 stops, I'll go for a larger target, expecting a solid move. Today was not a solid move in oil. It was a good-looking down shot down, but it really was very fast and low liquidity and low volume, it looked like. It looked like it would not have been easy. That's the reality. Or it looked like also that it might have only hit target 1. That's what it looked like. So I've got a trap trade going on the NQ, and on the MNQ, because you can't trade the MNQ, you can't trade the NQ twice at the same time. It'll throw the trade setups off. But we also have a breakout trade that's been working pretty nicely on this setup. So I'm going to set that up for the MNQ, and that's a bracket of 15, especially because the markets have been so darn volatile today. And the targets are 7 and 22. with a stop of 20, with an entry time of 1,400 hours. At the breakout trade, apply it, okay it. Now let me get my account set up properly. So I have to disconnect my family money account and connect my other account. Which I'll do. Everybody okay out there? This has been a quiet group today. A very quiet group. So let me set up, recheck my trap trade. When you change connections, you have to change, make sure your account, if you're trading at all, sim or live, you have to make sure that the account is chosen, because if you change connections, very often the account will be blank, okay? So if the account's blank, you have to change it, put it back to live or sim. And the same thing is true on the MNQ. I don't have to re-enter the trade, but I do have to make sure that my account is chosen so it will trade. And I'm going to trade them both for real. I don't know what's going to happen. If we get a burst, then one of them might work and one might not. Let me just check my time. $1,400 is correct. So we got a trap going on the left and a breakout going on the right. And one of them is in a small account, the MNQ, the micro, and the trap trade will be in the regular NQ, one contract each. What was I just going to do? I'm drawing a blank. Oh, I know what I was going to do. So you know how with Ninja you have a crosshair, and see on this chart I have an arrow, I have a pointer. So if you right click the chart and go to crosshair, turn the crosshair off, it'll give you the pointer. So most of the time when I'm trading, I like the pointer because it's easier to click on buttons, or if you have to move your stop, it's much easier. You don't miss where you're pointing. The crosshair is much better for your analysis after the trade when you're looking to see where you were filled, et cetera, right? I'm assuming, right, that's why the market is dropping, Chantal, because of the variant news. I'm listening to the news on my laptop. I don't know why people are all bent out of shape. We know it's coming here. I can't have my laptop blasting. So what that tells me, Chantal, is this has been a brutally difficult day for trading in general. It might be wise to just test our trap trade on MNQ, because it is a reason not to trade, folks. It's a reason not to trade. So here's what I would rather do. What I would rather do is not throw away money. So I'll test the trap trade live, but with lower risk, because the market is truly in a high risk zone right now. And I agree with Chantal that you want to be careful because of the news. It's not a normal day today. You've got a giant sell-off from yesterday, and you have a quote-unquote recovery today, and all the testing that we do doesn't have any meaning on a day like today, because this is not a normal day, okay? Your testing is subject to normality, and you need to understand that and pivot necessarily if you need to pivot. So I'm going to pivot, and I'm going to pivot by saving money. I'm going to try to save money by not risking as much. So and the trap trade has a potential to risk much more money than the breakout. Also, I really want to test the trap trade with 2 tiers. I don't want to reduce my risk by only using 1 tier. So what you could do, okay, the stop is fine for the MNQ. You could increase your tiers a little bit. Absolutely, Mark. Absolutely. You have to take your testing into account. There are weeks and months that you throw the testing out because the testing is invalidated by market events or things that happen. And sometimes you miss them, or sometimes your testing is normal through them anyway. So, but it's definitely something you have to try and be aware of. You got to be aware of everything. It's just the way it all is. Now, I want to make sure that I have my correct strategy on here. So this is my trap. But I want to label it also. I'm screwing around because I'm kind of just brain dead, so bear with me. That's what I wanted to do. So I got my trap. Okay, here's my trap trade. Okay, and then I'm going to trade 1 contract on the regular NQ. 1 contract with a breakout. And I'm going to make my bracket. I'm going to leave it at 15. I'm going to go 1 target. And I'm going to look for like 25 ticks. And I'm going to use a stop of 20, risk $100. And why are we doing it? I want to know if the breakout is working. And you can't tell. And I want to know if it works even when markets are difficult. And I do want to thank everybody that's watching us on YouTube, watching us get ready for the trade. And if you'd like to see our trades completely, please come and join our trade room. Go to our website, 10minutetrades.com, and you can sign up and join our trade room. So thank you very much for watching on YouTube. We appreciate it.